The waves engulf Severodvinsk, a town on an island off Russia's easternmost tip. This is just one tiny area of evacuations which span continents, impacting millions of people. Dwellings moved by the sheer force of the waves washed inland. An 8.8 magnitude was recorded, making it one of the most powerful earthquakes in history. But at a depth of 12 miles, it was also relatively shallow. Inside homes, ordinary life rattled and shaken. The reaction the same in sitting rooms across this part of Russia. Inside offices, some holding on. And then, seconds later, the decision to get out. Reports also that a building housing a kindergarten had collapsed, fortunately without casualties. At a nearby airport, panels came off the ceiling. And extraordinarily, surgeons working on the Kamchatka Peninsula steadied themselves and then continued.
In life-threatening situations where buildings have been damaged, we will provide temporary shelters in the shortest possible time, because safety is our main priority. We live in a region with threat of seismic activity and danger, and this is not the first experience for us. I'm calling on everyone to stay calm and don't panic. Please only trust official information.
800 miles south in Hokkaido, Japan's weather agency warned of waves up to 3 meters. In Japan, this is their recurring nightmare after the tsunami of 2011 killed thousands. And people act quickly, finding higher ground on top of buildings.
For citizens in the areas included in the tsunami warning, please evacuate to a safe place immediately, such as designated evacuation buildings and hills. We are receiving reports and currently monitoring for any details of damage or casualties.
Sirens blared out across parts of Japan that were at risk, as they did in Hawaii. The roads close to Waikiki beach on Oahu gridlocked when the warnings first came in, as they were on the main freeways around Hawaii's capital, Honolulu.
So far, we have not seen a wave of consequence, which is great relief to us. It's kind of a blessing to not be reporting any damage. Don't get on the road at all unless you need to. Just lay low tonight and watch television, please.
The earthquake struck just off the coast of the Kamchatka region in the northeast of Russia late morning, around 2,000 miles from Japan. It's in a tectonic area known as the Pacific Ring of Fire due to a high density of volcanoes and earthquakes. Around 90% of the world's earthquakes happen in this area. And it's one of the most powerful earthquakes in modern times and the 6th strongest ever recorded, but weaker than both the 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake and the Japanese earthquake in 2011. As night fell in Hawaii, there was calm. These are areas in which people are used to the threat of tsunamis and earthquakes, but it is no less unsettling. We're joined now by Professor David Tappin from the British Geological Survey. Thanks for joining us. An 8.8 magnitude earthquake is one of the largest ever recorded. So why are we not seeing as much damage as other large earthquakes in recent history?
That's a very good question. I woke up this morning, 7 o'clock, 8.8 magnitude earthquake off of Kamchatka. I was immediately concerned. Because the initial reporting suggested a wave about 4 meters locally. And to give you some sort of context, is that in Japan in 2011, there was a magnitude 9.1, and the tsunami was 15 meters on the Sendai Plain. And when I saw the 8.8 magnitude, I was expecting certainly something 8, 9, 10 meters. So in many ways, it's good news. The tsunami so far has been reported at 4 meters, but it's still early days yet. I'm suspicious, and I think it's because it's quite an isolated location. So locally, I've been just checking my websites, and there could be more information coming in when people actually, perhaps locally who are more isolated, come back with additional information.
So what is it that makes a tsunami wave larger or smaller, and are we able to accurately predict that?
I'll answer the last question first. No, we can't predict them. And the background here is it's an earthquake, okay? Earthquakes generate the most dangerous tsunamis, and comparisons are with 2011 Japan, 18,000 people killed. Of course, the Indian Ocean, 20,000 people. So earthquakes, basically, they move the seabed vertically, and water is incompressible. So as soon as you get a vertical displacement of the seabed, you get a vertical displacement of the ocean, and the tsunami wave collapses, and it travels outwards under the force of gravity. So they are quite simple mechanisms that generate the tsunami. And the reason we can't predict them is, just imagine one small point where the earthquake starts. The earthquake travels, ruptures, as we call it, 4 to 5 kilometers a second. And as it travels outwards, it could generate a magnitude 2 earthquakes, a magnitude 9 earthquake, or a magnitude 8.8. But whereas we can identify the earthquake and its magnitude pretty quickly, usually within about 3 or 4 minutes today, we cannot predict how large that earthquake will be.
And how fast do tsunami waves travel, and can they be tracked separately?
We do track them. Tsunami waves travel at something like 600 kilometers an hour, speed of a jet airliner. So they travel very, very quickly, and we can actually track them with satellites and also with numerical models, and the warning systems are based upon the numerical models. Once we know the magnitude of the earthquake, we can identify the height of the tsunami wave and the way it travels through the ocean.
How have communities that live in these areas prepared over the years? Because they are used to test signals and alerts to some degree, aren't they?
Well, the good news is that all the ocean basins, all the Pacific, Indian Ocean, Mediterranean, now have warning systems which were basically put together after the 2004 massive event in the Indian Ocean. And the warning system in the Pacific, it's based in Honolulu. Once they identify the hazard, the magnitude of the earthquake, then they send out, and I'm on the boards, they send out messages immediately to scientists like myself, but also local communities. And the local communities should be, and from what I've seen today so far, are prepared for being warned and the mitigation. And whereas the hazard is quite serious, the local populations can be informed. Many of them, particularly in places like Japan, they have test runs, if you like. And so it's the warning systems which are really important, and they certainly seem to be operating at the present time.
We've heard about significant aftershocks. How do they compare, and what can we expect to see over the next few hours and days?
Well, again, we work on worst-case scenarios. There is the potential for aftershocks. Once you've had the rocks are breaking, there's a reorganization, if you like. But it's unusual that they would be larger than the initial earthquake. So there will be aftershocks, as you suggested, but it's unlikely that they are of similar magnitude than the 8.8 initial event.
And we understand now that the threat levels in some areas have been downgraded as well.
Yeah, the tsunami struck Japan after about 5 hours, Hawaii after about 7 hours, so the wave has passed. It will strike the west coast of America in about midnight tonight, but the wave will be very small. But based on our understanding, the large event will have generated the largest tsunami, and hopefully the hazard has pretty much passed.
Professor David Tappin from the British Geological Survey, thank you very much.